Hi, and welcome to The Light Leaders, a podcast for light workers and conscious entrepreneurs who are passionate about raising the consciousness of our planet and take action to make it happen. I'm your host, Alexis Lember, and I believe that we are currently in the middle of a global awakening of humanity, that right now is the time for heart-centered conscious people to step into our power so we can replace the old paradigm and bring the conscious new us into manifestation. So here, I'll interview a variety of people who lead this movement of creating this new earth, whether they do it through a meditation course, a conscious podcast, or an ethical cryptocurrency. I call them light leaders. If you resonate with our mission, please help us spread the message by sharing this podcast. We're having more and more content getting censored, so we need your help. Make sure to stay in touch also by registering to our newsletter on thelightleaders.org. If you hear little nuggets you love and you'd like to share, screenshot this episode and share on your Instagram stories, make sure to tag us at the Light Leaders Podcast and we will repost. Hey, there's a project I'm super passionate about. It's called the Light Leaders Mastermind. We're looking for people who really want to create better systems for the new us and see blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and decentralized technologies as a great way to do it. More concretely, we'll have a few mastermind events with top guest speakers, and we'll create a group of like-minded people to build those new foundations. We want people who are passionate about the values around sovereignty and freedom, and who are also capable and solution-driven. So if that sounds like you, I invite you to get more information on thelightleaders.org/mastermind. We also have a free Telegram group that you'll find there where you can get more info. Hi, and welcome to this new episode of The Light Leaders. Today, I'm with Kyle Hai, who is the founder of Growrora.com, a serial digital entrepreneur, the author of 2 books, and a part-time YouTuber. Growrora is a platform for teachers and healers to grow their business. It is a platform where you can earn Aura tokens in exchange for the time you spend working on personal development. A place where everybody thrives by becoming the greatest, most powerful version of themselves. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. It's nice to hear that.
I'm super interested to have you today because I've looked at the online space and I've seen the problems of it, whether social media, censorship, and we'll probably cover that in this episode. Sure. I have a question for you to start with. What are you grateful for today?
What am I grateful for? God, I'm grateful for you, Alex. I'm grateful for Leo. I'm grateful for all my past and present relationships and the people and my health and my dogs. I'm grateful for a lot, bro. What about you? What are you grateful for?
I think I'm super grateful to live at a time when we can have an amazing studio like this and broadcast our voices to the other side of the world.
For sure. It's always been a dream of mine to set up a studio like that. So I'm like looking at Leo, you've done a much better job than I could have ever done. So that's for sure.
Beautiful manifestation.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I like to give the listener a little bit of an overview of you, let's say, but starting with your why. What's your greater why? And how your business helps to bring that into manifestation.
What's my why? That's a really good question. Well, I always think that our purpose in life is to find the thing that we are most grateful for and give it to the world. And I was very fortunate enough to have wonderful teachers that helped me come from the brink of a really dark place, like a really unhappy teenage years. And I had people that guided me on that path. And then eventually I gained the confidence and the strength to be able to create my own YouTube channel. And actually all I did was I downloaded a video from YouTube, a Les Brown motivational speech, and I re-uploaded it. And then I recorded 6 more videos of myself, which was a terrifying process at the time. And 6 to 12 months later, I don't know exactly when, I logged into my account and there was $5,000 sitting in my AdSense account. And I was like, Jesus. So like everyone else, I quit my job, and that was when I moved to Bali. I'm not going to go too much into that, but the point being is that what that did is it really set me free. It really allowed me to be the best version of myself. So the reason I started Grow Aura is because I really wanted to give that gift, that combined gift of the right teachers and the financial freedom to be able to actually find and fulfill your destiny, because it's the only true fulfillment in this life. I think so. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and financial freedom. So we'll talk about it with growora.com because you told me it was about getting paid to work on yourself, which sounds very exciting. Can you share a bit more about the vision?
So I've through divine inspiration, I would say, devised a mechanism where everybody that uses this platform can actually earn a token, a Binance Smart Chain token at the moment. And that token can be used for all different things within the platform. And I think, as far as I am aware, I'm still kind of exploring the whole process. But I think I've devised a mechanism that will allow this token to increase in value over time as the platform grows in value. So everybody that contributes or uses this platform earns a share of the value of this platform. And as the platform becomes more valuable and helps more people and inspires more people, then everybody that contributed and participated will own a little chunk of that vision. There's a white paper actually that explains it a lot better. I don't want to go too much into the specifics, unless if you want me to, I can. If you want me to explain the mechanism,
we can, because people listening to this podcast, they're quite interested about sovereignty, freedom, empowerment.
Yeah.
And many of us see blockchain technologies as a way to do it.
Yeah.
So without going too deep in the rabbit hole,
I don't want to give away my trade secrets. No, it's okay. I'm very transparent with this whole process.
Well, I'm curious also, how long have you been looking at blockchain and why you chose to use blockchain?
Well, I hadn't really. I'd obviously been interested in Bitcoin at the very beginning. I had Bitcoin when it was $200.
Wow.
Yeah, but then I sold it when it was $1,200 because I was like, there's no way it's going up. It's $1,200. I was like, this is a fluke. This is not going to happen. So I sold it, and then it wasn't really something that was of interest of me. But this platform actually was built not because of the blockchain. That was built just because of that desire to find a way to give myself to the world and to give love to the world. It was never financially driven. It was just like, how can I take my skill set and create something that's going to empower as many people as possible. But the blockchain component actually came along only in 2020, I think 2019, 2020. And a good friend of mine who had actually invested in Bitcoin at $200 and kept his Bitcoin, he finally revealed to me after many years that he was actually a multimillionaire. He had never told me, so we developed our friendship purely based on just hanging out and being friends. And then finally he's a multimillionaire. And this guy lives like forgive me if he watches this, but he lives a bit like a pig, and you would never guess that he was a millionaire. And then finally he was just like, bro, I've watched you struggle and work on this platform for all these years. I'm gonna if you set up a token, if you put this onto the blockchain in some way, shape, or form, then I would like to purchase some of those tokens and support you with it. And I was like, wait a minute, I never really thought about that. I had thought about the concept of paying people points and the concept of paying people to use the platform, but I'd never considered that maybe it would be possible that I would actually be able to create my own token and create my own cryptocurrency or blockchain. So we went ahead and we formulated a smart contract on the Binance Smart Chain. And that smart contract is for the Aura token, and there's only 33 million Aura ever. They can never be made more, and they can never be reduced. And the reason I chose 33 is not because I'm a a dark occultist, but because I really feel it's the number of God. And I want this platform to really get people to search for God and to discover God within themselves. And there's probably people sitting back at home like, oh, God, Christian. I would grow up a Christian, but when I say God, I mean source. I mean love. It's just, for me, it's the easiest way to explain it. And yeah, there's 33 million of these tokens. There's only ever going to be a fixed amount. And I've built a mechanism that the first people that use the platform will earn more of the tokens, and gradually, as the platform grows, the more difficult it becomes to earn these tokens and the more valuable these tokens become. So I'm hoping that eventually, if my intuitive feeling is right, eventually what will happen is everybody that participates in creating this beautiful platform that's based on love, based on giving, based on inspiring other people and supporting other people and healing yourself in that process, then I'm hoping that all those people that have taken the time to contribute to that will be rewarded financially, so they can literally change the world in this physical world. Yeah, that's very much it. So
yeah, I think it's a very smart profit sharing to make the users of your platform
the owners,
owners, investors, rather than things to be used for profit, as we can see on other platforms.
For sure. Well, there becomes a point in all of our lives. Now, I'm doing pretty good financially just now. I'm not like super rich, but I'm doing okay. And there comes a point in your life where you realize that money doesn't actually bring you happiness. As sure many people have already figured that out. It doesn't bring you happiness. It doesn't bring you joy. And there also comes a point in life where you realize you can actually live with very little. Just the simple things like your little joglo and your scooter and your dogs, and life can be very, very, very simple. So for me with Grower, it was never about me getting rich. I didn't need to get rich. I was already rich. It was about how can I empower those people that need the money to go out and then change the world. Yeah, that's the only way.
Well, but I would argue though, for example, renting a studio like this, that's going to cost money. So that's helpful. I think it's good if you have more financial. It
definitely makes it easier for sure. Yeah, I'm never going to say no to wealth, but it's not something. It doesn't come. I'm not chasing money.
Yeah,
it's coming to me, if that makes sense. And that's what I want to create with Grower. This is the whole thing. So have you ever been a coach or a teacher?
I did a little bit of online programs and coaching.
Okay,
not anymore.
So you know what it's like to be in a position where you want to coach people, you want to help people, but you don't want to be begging them to ask you for help.
Yeah.
You don't want to be trying to convince them that you can help them, do you? That's not the way it works. That's not how the universe it works. You're always going to be chasing your tail and you're always going to be broke. And I see so many coaches they want to be coaches. They want to help people. They want to get people. They want to inspire people. They want to lead people. And I love these people. Such beautiful people. I was one of those people. But then I realized it's like, well, I don't want to go out and chase customers. So how do I find customers? Then I have to just keep giving. I have to keep giving myself to the world and trust that the people that are meant to find me will find me. And
I've been pretty successful in network marketing, which does have a bad reputation for good reasons, but also has some intelligence in the business model, in the way that the people you enroll, if they want to do the business side of it, they become kind of partners, and there's that profit sharing mechanism.
Yeah. So it's always good when everybody wins rather than just one person or YouTube or Google, But if we can just create a mechanism where people can just give their gift to the world, and I really feel that video is the best way to do that. Ironically, as we're sitting here in the studio, because there's no other vehicle that really actually captures the essence of the energy of the people. And what are we giving? It's not. If we can't give time to every single individual person that we want to help, we have to create a way of replicating that moment in time for as many people as possible. So that's why video is the strongest way to attract people. And the idea behind Grower is you watch a video. I watched a video of you teaching, or this podcast, for example, and I go onto your profile and I look and I can see all of your products. I can see all of your services. I can see all of your content. I can connect with you. I can leave reviews having had worked with you. And for you as a coach and a teacher, it's going to be so easy to build a business because you're just going to be pulling people in by creating content And they have everything already there that they need to know about you to make a decision whether they want to work with you, rather than you having to actually go out and hustle for them, you know? That's a big challenge in this industry, I think.
Am I able to put the podcast on the platform now, and people being rewarded with Aura for watching them? For sure.
Okay. And even you can use Aura. You obviously, as a creator, you earn more. Yeah. It's more of an incentive to create.
It's a super interesting landscape. So also for my podcast, I've been censored on YouTube for some of my videos on more controversial topics.
Like what?
Well, I won't say it because I want to publish this one on YouTube, but like injections.
Okay, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But so I've prioritized Odyssey now.
Yeah.
Do you know Odyssey?
I know Odyssey, yeah.
It's really interesting. So you can give micropayments to support, and you can earn rewards. So it's a really good model. Yeah. That makes me think also of, are you familiar with Axie Infinity?
I know the name, but I don't know what it is.
It's actually a gaming platform where people make a lot of money owning real estate there and selling. I'm not very familiar because and this one is a bit tricky because people get paid to do something they love, which is video games, but then I guess for someone like me, spending a lot of time in front of a computer isn't my idea of personal development.
No.
But these are models that are super interesting, that are emerging with blockchain technology and that are working. Like Axie Infinity now is worth billions and billions.
Yeah, this is the future. This is it. Like I bet YouTube and what's her name? What's the founder? What's the CEO of YouTube just now?
I don't know.
She's a Polish lady, I think. Susan someone. I bet she's just absolutely just kicking herself because she would love to be working on the blockchain and with the cryptocurrency, but because of Google and because of their incestuous relationship with the US government, there's no way that they can ever move away from the dollar. And that's going to be their downfall, because there's going to be so many platforms that come on the blockchain and are actually paying people to use them. Whereas YouTube just sucks the life out of everything and pays the creators very, very little, which is not the future. And like you say, Odyssey's great, Library's great. And yes, funnily enough, I actually had the idea for the tokenization, the reward kind of process a lot longer before they ever did. I just never implemented it. I was being a bit of a slow burner. I try a spiritual journey, trying to figure out exactly what the hell I'm doing. But the thing that differentiates Grow and Odyssey and Library is they're very much broadly scoped, and yes, they're still hosting content that can be controversial. And don't get me wrong, I think there's a need and a place for that content, the controversial content about the injections, etc., etc. But I often mention this to people. I got this is I don't know if it's going to sound crazy, but there's a pyramid of consciousness. I don't know where I learned this, but it's something that always stuck with me. There's a pyramid of consciousness. And at the bottom of that pyramid is where 99.99% of people are, and that's where they believe that they're just skin and bones and they're animals, and it's almost like the beast consciousness, a low level of consciousness. And I don't say that in a way to demean these people. It's just a fact. And then you have the next level of consciousness where it's like you realize that you're spirit, and you're more than skin and bones, and there's actually some kind of higher power in this life. And then you get to the next level of consciousness where you realize how fucked up everything is. You're like, shit, everything's inverted. It's the wrong way. Like, this isn't good. Like, health is death, and love is hate, and sex is lust. And it's like, there's all these different, like, everything is the exact opposite of what it should be. And then there's the next level of consciousness. And I think that's where many, many people are moving into now. And that's where many of these platforms are really thriving, is because so many people are in this level of consciousness of like, okay, everything's fucked. We need to tell everybody. We need to wake everybody up. You know, like the dollar vigilante, Jeff Berwick. Yeah. I talked about him for a while. There's a couple of others. What's that dude in Australia? The one that's always angry.
I know, but on this podcast, that's two of the censored episodes. I've had Ole Damegard and Sasha Stone.
Yeah. So even Sasha, I haven't like
David Icke is a famous.
David Icke. See, I made a video about David Icke on my YouTube, and it got so many dislikes because I'm like, he looks like a freaking lizard. He's talking about being a lizard, like the lizard people, but he looks like a freaking lizard. Anyway, we don't want to get into that. Don't get me riled up in that. So we got the level of consciousness where you start to realize that fuck, everything's fucked. We need to wake people up. They're killing people, blah blah blah. And yes, I can acknowledge that reality. It sucks. It's not good. I don't want it. It's not. I'm not a heartless person that can ignore that reality, but there is the final part of the pyramid, and this is the part of the pyramid that they don't ever want anyone to get to. This is what this whole matrix is designed to keep you away from. And that's the top of the pyramid. That's the all-seeing eye in terms of the dollar. And that's why the dollar bill, I believe, is the all-seeing eye is actually separate to the rest of the pyramid, because that's what money does. It takes you away from that infinite all-seeing eye of consciousness. And this is all being by design. And Mark Passio is I don't know if you know Mark Passio. He's a really great guy. He explains it a lot better. He's on the platform. He's on Grow Aura. But the all-seeing eye is when you realize that everything is perfect.
Yeah, Oleda Megad that I've had in that podcast makes me think of that. It was like you talked about 3D, basically in the Matrix, 4D more a rebel and everything's fucked up. Yeah. And 5D is that transcendence.
That's probably where it's coming from, because I don't know where I got the 5, but I remember reading somewhere. But it's right. When you get to the top of the pyramid, you realize that there cannot be light without dark, and there cannot be dark without light. And whilst what's happening in this horrific situation within the world, with what's going on and all the lies and the manipulation, the flip side of that is there are people like me and you and Leo and everyone,
solutionaries.
That are rising up to create a better world. And to create a world where it's actually, I don't want to live in a world where people are just mass consuming mindlessly and just fucking each other all the time. Excuse my French.
And that's why, personally, I'm like, okay, I put maybe 10 to 20% on awareness. And that's why some of my guests here will be all about awareness. Yeah. And most of my guests, because it's good to have awareness, to know there's a problem, to work on the solution. Yeah. But then most of it is focusing on the solutions, which is why I'm excited to have you also and to talk about Grow Aura.
Well, I'm at 99% solution now. I just don't even I'm subscribed from all the Telegram groups. I don't even want to know.
Maybe it needs a phase. I'm still quite new to it. So maybe it's, and after a few years, you get like, okay, I'll go fully into the solution. I don't need the awareness.
Well, it's like, if we keep giving power to that reality, we're going to keep getting that reality. And I swear, since I actually went through somewhat of a separation with somebody that I was really, really like a real good connection with. And I was getting bombarded with, this is a couple of months actually ago, when we were trying to arrange our meeting before, and I was getting bombarded with all these messages from people about how everybody's dying and everybody's this and that, and I was like, I don't want to know right now. I just want to.
And then you wake up in Bali and you're like, that's pretty good. You don't watch the news.
You're just like, fuck, it's like actually my reality is pretty cool.
Well, let's go back to solutions then and Grow Aura. Yeah. I'd love to understand, is it a video platform? Is it also social media? Is it more like a course platform, like a Mind Valley?
So first of all, I'm going to start with I don't use Facebook and I don't use Instagram. I don't like Facebook and I don't like Instagram. I use YouTube because I love making videos. And it doesn't take too much. I don't have to. I can watch what I want to consume. So the idea behind Grow Aura is it's a video platform, but with detailed kind of LinkedIn style profile for the coaches and teachers. Okay. So the focus is on delivering video and personal development, and then you can use it in a similar way as you use it to YouTube. But as a teacher, you can actually build a business within this platform. But I'm going to be one of the first social media video platform, whatever you want to call it. That's like, I don't want to take all of your time. Yeah. You just come to us when you want to get inspired. I don't want you to consume. I don't want you to sit on your laptop and go out and have fun. I
think the CEO of Netflix said that his biggest competitor was sleep.
Yeah, because these people are greedy. These people are evil. Well, I don't know if they're evil. I can't make that judgment, but they're definitely greedy in some way, shape, or form. I don't want all of your time. I just want you to learn how to give and to contribute and to be of service to others and to come to us when you want to get inspired.
So how do you get the monetization to work then? Because if you pay people by watching videos, you could get them to be too much on the platform too.
That's a trade secret. I can't That's something we're still figuring out as we go.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how people are going to use the platform. And once we've really mastered how people use the platform and really understood how people are using the system, then we will put that into a fixed smart contract. So it's completely transparent. Yeah. So right now it's not decentralized, it's centralized.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the governance at the moment is centralized.
Is centralized. Yeah,
sometimes it works better to launch something.
We have to, because people might upload some stupid shit that's going to like cause people more problems, for example.
But as you go, the idea is to figure out how you can make it more decentralized.
Once we figured out how we can get the community to manage everything and do it so it's completely hands off, I would love to decentralize it, because I have a really strong feeling at some point in this platform that this platform is going to be a powerful force in the world. And I don't want to be at the driving seat. I just want to let it fly. You know,
could be cool if you join us mid-September. We'll have an online mastermind event. And one of the guest speaker is Niklas Hager from Seeds that I've had on that podcast. And they have a really sophisticated decentralized governance. So the idea is we create a mastermind of conscious leaders in the blockchain space. So we can get the best knowledge on how to make a DAO, how to make a token, what systems to use.
Well, there's an event, isn't there, on the 2nd of September from Seeds, I think.
I'll be there.
Cool, cool.
In Bali. I want to ask you also, because you said you leave Facebook, Instagram, many reasons, but what are your reasons?
That's a good question. Well, for me, Instagram is all about stroking the ego, and I would like to not be part of that process as much as possible. And for Facebook, it's just all too consuming. It's just energetically consuming, time consuming. And I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I was kind of scrolling through, and all that we saw every day was just people just desperate to sell things, people in fear, and it was just perpetuating that energy of hopelessness. And I'm like, no, if I'm real present with my reality, if I sit back, like right now we're having this awesome conversation in the studio, and like, or if I'm sitting at home chilling with my dogs, I'm like, God, my reality is perfect. Why am I allowing the energy of other people's unhealed traumas to come into my presence and pull me off my path when I've got such an important mission? So that was pretty much it. I just don't want to waste any time. I want to be focused on what we're doing right now and being present. And I don't get me wrong, I'm sure like people use Facebook and Instagram for the bit of marketing their businesses and stuff like that, but Jesus, like, I don't even know. You don't miss.
Have you watched The Social Dilemma?
I have, but I don't remember exactly what happened in it.
It's a lot about what you talk about, how those platforms are designed to suck up your energy, basically, and spend as much time as possible.
I did. And so many people still use them anyway. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? No, for me, like, I only want to give my time to something that gives energy back, and these platforms consume way more energy than they give you, in my opinion.
I'm aligned with that. I'm also in the process of leaving Facebook and Instagram. Not that easy when you've built a bit as an influencer.
It's real hard. You gotta let go of everything.
Even friends, but on top of it, so for sure that's a big thing. Also, the use of your data, how they sell it to advertisers, and also censorship. Some of my clips have been censored on Facebook.
That's like something you should be really proud of. Well, to a certain extent, I got censored a lot on YouTube as well. I got demonetized by them. So at the beginning of the pandemic. It's like, these mother truckers, and that's what it was a bit. Whenever they do that, that's just like a little nudge in the okay, gotta go. But the thing is, if I could offer any advice to anybody in this particular situation, and like, it's so easy to fall into the trap of getting caught up in the mind control. So easy to get caught up in I want to make content and talk about the jabs, whatever you want, but in actual fact, as much as like it may appear they're censoring, etc., the more that people give that energy, the more that is perpetuating that reality. And I'm not saying that we should be completely ignorant to the situation. I'm just saying that if we just give our 100% to the solution, like if you look at Joe Dispenza and you look at a lot of the other, like, what's his name? Eckhart Tolle, for example.
Bruce Lipton. Also.
Yeah, they will gently brush the topic of what's going on in the world, but they'll never really go into it.
Yeah.
And therefore they don't get censored. And I had this big battle with Growora for a while. I actually had the Dollar Vigilante on there, and I had Sasha Stone on there. With permission from the Dollar Vigilante, Sasha Stone, I had a chance to actually ask him, but we're acquaintances, so I'm pretty sure he would have been okay with it. But the thing is that at that point in time, I had these people on this platform, and all that did for me was create this massive blockage. And I was like, okay, I want to promote this platform. I want to take this to the next level. I want to change the freaking world. But I know if I promote these people who are on that lower level of the pyramid of consciousness, then it's going to bring me a whole bunch of drama and stress that I don't need, because I'm already going to have a whole bunch of drama and stress building a video platform, building a business. So in some ways you might say, oh, maybe it was cowardly to actually remove them from the platform. In some ways you might say maybe it was cowardly to do that, but it's not about being cowardly. It's about operating from that highest level of consciousness and realizing that the only way to fix the problems in the world is to get people to that level of awareness where they realize that everything is perfectly imperfect, shall we say.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone has their role too, and that there's a need for awareness and awakening. For me, going to the New Earth Festival organized by Akasha, so by Sasha Stone 2 years ago, listening to people that David Icke, I'm not saying, maybe they're a bit stuck there and talking about the problems, but maybe it's also their role, and we all have roles. So I don't know, to me, it's like the solutionaries, to me, it's not about saying the people are stuck in awareness and it's not good. It's about, thank you for doing that job, because I need aware people to then join the solutions. And my role is to talk about solutions.
And that's I completely agree. And I'm not just counting their work. Like Sasha does great work. David Icke does good work. They all do, like even Dollar Vigilante does good work. But they can stay on BitChute, or they can stay on Odyssey if they want, because the platform that we're creating is the solution. And only focused on the solution, and it's a high vibrational solution. And I think that's probably one of the reasons it's taking so long for it to really catch on, is because there are so few people that it resonates with. So many people are in that vibration of fear. But what we can lift them up, we can pull them up into love, but we have to facilitate that process.
And that's a tricky one, I guess, for you and your platform, because like in the end, you end up censoring. And I feel like there could be a way where you make your values so clear that the people on your platform don't listen to this. The people on BitChute, they listen to this, but they can still post on your platform, but it just won't really take. That would be ideal.
It's a tricky one, and so many people's attention is on the fear. And like I'm going, I know, like I'm running an uphill battle, if that's the right phrase. Because I'm creating something from a place of love and light in a world where everybody's focused on the fear, and I'm not oblivious to that challenge. And yes, there is a component of censorship, and I never want to be the person that censors. I believe in free speech, absolutely. But you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's like we're going to ingrain our values so firmly into the platform, into the ethics, into the vibration of the platform. In actual fact, these people won't even be drawn to that situation.
I feel that's the solution, and I do understand that when you start a project, sometimes you need control and centralization to push the vision. As long as then it can, these are more short-term measures.
A sense of control and censorship. There is. Fuck, I'm becoming Google. No, I'm not. It's a slightly. This is an ethical dilemma that I have faced and gone round in circles. And the only solution that I've come to is that no, I won't censor people. I would just kind of train people within the platform to work towards the vision that we hold. And that is to empower people and to give love to people and to create high vibrational content. And some people might say, well, David Icke's empowering me. And he's like, he is to a certain extent. Yeah. But then if he just keeps going on telling you how shitty the world is, you're just going to find yourself completely hopeless whilst he's getting richer and richer and richer. And this is the problem. Is like these people, yes, they serve a purpose, but they serve a purpose at a certain point of our evolution, you know? But yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, and my scale, I face it too, even with Telegram groups. So for example, for the mastermind event we're putting together, we're like super clear, we're here for solutions.
Yeah.
And you still have someone, they won't join the mastermind probably, but who joined the more open group and just forwarding things. And I'm like, I delete because that's not the place. Yeah. But to me, it's not an ideal platform.
No, there's no way, is there? There's no happy balance. People are going to try and bring in their fear wherever they can. We can only lead and just do our best to stay strong in our beliefs and what we are creating, but then allow that to be open. I mean, with Grow Aura, we've actually to begin with, it's only going to be invite only for the creators, or you have the option to use the platform and use the platform for a certain amount of period where you earn enough aura to unlock teaching capabilities.
Actually, I can share an idea here from Seeds, who have been on that podcast. And I told you they have great decentralized governance. They'll be on the mastermind too. What they do is you pay to invite someone. So if I want to invite you to Seeds, I actually pay 5 seeds, which is not a lot. But then it's like the opposite of the usual referrals, but then I make sure it's like a gift that I invite you there and I invite the right people.
That's a cool model, and I would really love to meet those guys and actually see how we can, because there's been a few times that's come up actually. So yeah, I'd really love to invite them in and talk to them and find out if we can integrate that decentralized governance, because ultimately I just want to chill. I just want to drink tea and hang out with my family, you know. But unfortunately, I've been given this mission on this earth, so I'm going to do it in the best way that I can. But by not having myself so much involved, I don't want to be Mark Zuckerberg. I don't want to be on the spotlight. I just want to create this leg, change the world, and disappear. And it's really, I don't know.
You can see on his face, hasn't been very fulfilling.
He's from another realm.
There are those videos of like the 10 past year and how
he got himself, he sold his soul to the devil, and that's he's paying the price for that. But yeah, so just this book I would like to just bring up before we're doing. This is my second book. This is the universe in us. This kind of really embodies the journey, my spiritual journey that actually led to building this platform. And if I was to offer any advice to anybody on their own journey to finding their own purpose and what it is that they're here for and why they're doing it, it's just to write your own story, just to go back and reflect on all the things that happened in your life. So then I don't know how, but when you really go within and you go deep and you try and figure out why you keep making the same mistakes over and over again, finally you realize that everything is connected. That's my one piece of advice.
Amazing, brother. I mean, that'd be a really nice way to conclude. I'd say.
I think so.
And I want to acknowledge you also for building that platform that's very needed, where if you invite me as a creator,
I would love to have you for sure.
share my podcast there and more creations, because I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, you're literally exactly the kind of person that I would love to have on the platform. So keep up the good work. Thank you for investing, because I'm sure this setup wasn't cheap. Thank you for investing in that, for doing that.
What money's for?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for doing a service. Thank you for doing that. You're literally living as a life of service. And I'm sure that ultimately it will all come back to you 1,000 times.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Already coming back a lot.
I'm sure, bro. I'm sure. Cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And I'm sure many of the listeners might also be great creators or people who go there. Also, I'll also be a consumer on the platform. So I encourage people to go on growra.com. Do you have a last word for the listener?
Yeah, if anyone's interested in being part of the platform, I'd love to talk to you. Just send me an email at kyle@growra.com and we'll connect and we'll talk in person, one-to-one. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking some of your precious time to listen to this podcast. If you stayed until the end, I assume it was insightful. So if you like this podcast, please share with friends. Remember that if you tag us in your Instagram story at the Lightleaders podcast, we will repost. Tell us what you've learned. You can also leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Now, if you want to stay posted about new podcast releases, especially as we get censored more and more on big tech platforms, make sure to join our newsletter and our Telegram. You'll find the links on thelightleaders.org, and feel free to contact me directly too, whether it's for feedback or potential collaborations. Thank you again, and let's co-create the conscious new earth together.